In the life sciences, quality assurance departments are accountable for the quality of all products being distributed for consumption or use. They're also responsible for ensuring products have been manufactured according to GXP guidelines. When a quality defect is detected or suspected in a product distributed in the market, for example, in an active substance, medicinal product, medical device, or packaging, the organization should have a process for handling complaints, implementing CAPAs, and recalling the entire batch from the market, if necessary. GXP complaints should be taken seriously because defective products in the market can have a negative impact on patient health. The consequences could even be death as a result of errors made during the manufacturing process. This short course will offer an overview of managing complaints, quality defects, and product recalls to protect public health in the life sciences. In the life sciences, an error involves a problem involving any of the different processes of a product life cycle, as well as any event that deviates from what is defined in a written procedure. It can lead to a defective product entering the market. A quality defect is an attribute of a medicinal product or component of a medical device that can affect the quality, safety, and/or efficacy of a product, and that is not in line with the approved marketing authorization. In this context, any error that occurs during the manufacturing process may lead to a quality defect. For example, if a contaminant was present in a medicinal product due to cross-contamination and it was not detected during analysis, the error resulting from cross-contamination may lead to a defect or a product of incorrect quality that can undermine the therapeutic effect of the medicinal product. This defect can even affect the health of the patient. However, it should not be confused with an adverse drug reaction. Now let's discuss the meaning of a product recall. A recall is when a product is retrieved from the distribution network due to a quality defect. Let's explore 3 definitions of complaints depending on the type of product or guideline. According to ISO 10002, a complaint is the expression of dissatisfaction made to an organization related to its products or to the complaint handling process itself, where a response or resolution is explicitly or implicitly expected. The ISO 10002 provides guidance on the process of complaint handling related to products within an organization, including planning, design, operation, maintenance, and improvement. It is intended for organizations of all sizes and in all sectors. The complaint handling process is one of the main features of an overall quality management system, QMS. However, according to 21 CFR 820.3b, the regulation used in manufacturing medical devices, a complaint is any written, electronic, or oral communication that alleges deficiencies related to the identity, quality, durability, reliability, safety, effectiveness, or performance of a device after it is released for distribution. Now let's move on to the complaint handling process. In order to protect public health, an organization's QMS needs to have a policy and procedures for handling complaints according to the different types of regulations, depending on the product and the GXP environment. We will look at the different phases of complaint handling: the complaint recording, review, assessment, and investigation can effectively and promptly recall the product in the case of a defect. It is important to understand the quality risk management principles should be applied throughout these phases. The decision-making process in relation to product recalls, corrective and preventive actions, and other risk-reducing actions should be based on risk criticality. Complaints may be received from various sources: verbally, which is not ideal as there is typically no record of the complaint, by electronic means, or in written forms. Managing complaints is not an easy job. Only personnel with expertise should be responsible for managing this process. The investigation of the root cause and the measures to mitigate the negative actions require experienced, knowledgeable personnel. Upon receipt, the complaint should be documented as an event in line with your organization's internal policies. An initial assessment is performed based on all of the available information from the customer to form a hypothesis if the complaint represents a real or potential quality defect. Not all complaints are related to quality defects. When they are, the complaint should be communicated to the party responsible for the investigation. Members of the organization's quality assurance department generally oversee this process, and the qualified person is involved. Other experienced staff are usually part of an interdisciplinary complaints team. After a complaint is received, all the relevant information is assessed to determine whether it constitutes an actual complaint. If the information is a complaint and not a concern or a query, it should be included in the product's risk management file. This means that the first thing you need to prepare is a risk assessment document for your product or service. Accordingly, you will need to perform an evaluation of the severity of the complaint based on the quality, safety, and performance issues that present a high risk to individual and public health. Complaints can be classified in 3 categories: critical, major, and minor. A critical deficiency produces a significant risk of having a negative impact on a patient. A critical deficiency can also affect a product and result in harm. For example, if a manufacturer has fraudulent or falsified data, then there is undoubtedly a critical deficiency at play. Critical deficiencies require immediate action to protect public health and safety. A major deficiency can be due to several reasons. For example, it may occur when a deficiency has produced or may produce a product that does not comply with the marketing authorization, dossier, or product specification. Another example of a major deficiency is when there is evidence that the organization has not ensured the effective implementation of GXP control measures during the manufacturing process, or when there is a major deviation from the terms of the manufacturing authorization. A final example is the failure of the authorized person to release a batch to fulfill their duties. However, there are many other deficiencies that can be categorized as major. Finally, a minor deficiency departs from GXP and cannot be classified as critical or major. At this stage, after the classification, if the root cause is clear, then immediate actions can be taken to apply the CAPA system. Every complaint should be investigated with all reasonable effort proportionate to the severity and frequency of the complaint. For major and critical complaints, we recommend involving a cross-functional team in the investigation wherever applicable. The investigation should be documented. At minimum, the following information should be recorded: the name of the product, the device identification, etc., the date the complaint was received, the name, address, and phone number of the complainant, the description of the complaint describing whether it is a quality defect or any other kind of deficiency, the risk assessment based on the severity and extent of the quality defect, availability of samples or reference or retention samples, documentation review, batch records, analytical records, batch certification records, and distribution records, the effect of the quality defect on other batches or products, review of complaint reports from the customer or other third parties, the decision-making process, the type of internal or external communication to inform complainants, the investigation of the potential root cause, the application of CAPA actions, and the notification to the complainant. The investigation can be performed by adopting suitable root cause analysis tools, for example, process mapping, fault tree analysis, FTA, fishbone diagram, cause and effect or Ishikawa, 5 whys, and FMEA, failure mode and effects analysis. All the records obtained during the product lifecycle, for example, analytical records, batch records, in-process controls, stability data, etc., and other relevant information must be reviewed as part of the investigation. The samples received from the customer and the ones kept for retention for the same lot can be inspected and/or retested as part of the investigation. Sometimes it is not possible to find the true root cause of the quality defect. In this case, you should identify the most probable root cause and address it. If there are other activities outsourced to a third party, keep in mind that you need to have a contract in place. The contract should describe the roles and responsibilities of the third party regarding the assessment, investigation, sharing of information, and implementation of CAPA actions. Determining the need to initiate CAPAs is a major issue in complaint management. Where human error is suspected or identified as the real root cause of a quality defect, appropriate CAPAs should be identified. For example, retraining, improving the process to avoid human intervention, etc. Other CAPA actions can be made on processes, workflows, documentation, maintenance, equipment, and more. The effectiveness of these actions should be monitored and assessed on a periodic basis. Trend analysis can be performed regularly to check the performance or address other recurring deviations. Have a look at the CAPA training course for insightful information on addressing deficiencies and avoiding recurrence in the future. After the investigation is completed, the organization should offer a response to the complainant, either the customer or regulatory authorities. Any decision or action taken that is relevant to the complainant should be communicated. If the product is on the market and/or if it can impact public health, you must report the information to the appropriate regulatory authorities as soon as possible. If the complaint cannot be immediately resolved, then you must still propose a solution. Authorities can take enforcement actions depending on the criticality of the deficiency. They can evaluate whether the deficiency is critical or major. They can also evaluate the organization's compliance history, its degree of cooperation, the potential risks to products and public health, and the proposed CAPAs. If the deficiency is linked to patient safety, then immediate action will be taken. Typically, the authorities send a cautionary letter or a re-inspection notification to assess the risk of recurrence of non-compliance or similar deficiencies. Depending on the criticality, the authorities can take several actions. For example, alert the manufacturer for future regulatory actions if the remedial CAPAs are not effective. Refuse, suspend, or amend the establishment authorization. Recall all batches from the market. Notify the public about the deficiency. Suspend or cancel the marketing authorization or license. How should you handle recalled products when they are received at the organization's premises? It is important to know that all recalled products should be identified and stored separately in a secure area until a decision is made. The recalled products could be reworked or destroyed depending on the authority's recommendation. If the product is reworked, please consider using the remaining shelf life if they are placed onto the market. A reworked product is not considered a fresh new batch. The complaint can be closed once the complainant, customer, or authority agrees with the proposed CAPA actions. The closure should be recorded according to your internal procedures, so long as those procedures align with regulatory guidelines. If the complainant rejects the proposed CAPA, then the complaint will remain open. In this case, the complainant should be informed of alternative internal and external resources. The organization should continue to monitor the progress of the complaint until all reasonable CAPAs are satisfied. That's all! Thank you for attending this course. I hope you find it useful and that you have learned what you expected. See you in other courses at Scilife Academy to continue your learning journey.